We'll start. Just start scrolling through it.
Huh?
Start scrolling through this estimate.
Yeah. You wanna grab a check? Yeah?
No.
Okay. Okay, so yeah, deductible, net claim.
Yep, we got all that.
And I have pictures, all the pictures.
And by the way, who did you send the estimate to?
I didn't send the estimate to anybody. I didn't do supplemental yet.
You didn't do one, okay. Got it.
It's I'm waiting for you.
All right, good. So that's good. I have an email address for ASI. You don't want to send it here.
No?
No. That's the first mistake everyone makes, is they'll send it to this guy. This guy's done already. I mean, did you already meet? Maybe he just wrote it. Did you meet with him? March? No,
Yeah, I like him.
March?
Yeah.
You met him in March?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, he's done. He's off the case.
Maybe not in March.
Now, if you call him and you send that to him, you may bring him back on the case. He'll just invite himself back onto the case because he knows he's going to get paid. If you contact him first, he'll just come on the case. But his judgment is in question, right? You're questioning his knowledge, his expertise, his ability,
and
his
when I was
skills.
with him, he said like you can supplement it later.
Sure,
Like,
good.
I was pointing
Because he knows
things.
he's gone. He's
Correct,
off.
correct.
He's gone.
Correct.
So you need to send it to ASI.
Yeah.
That's where it needs to go.
Not Yahoo.
No. See, let's scroll up a little bit. Scroll up. Look, Worley.
Yeah.
That's an independent adjustment firm. So stay away from Worley. ASI. If you go right, there should be. Yeah, there you go. There's the desk adjuster right there. That's the desk adjuster right there. I wouldn't even send it to him because you're still questioning him. I would send it to the ASI Corp, and I can get it to you. I think it's claims@asicorp.org. I have
it
the
should be
email.
on their website.
It should be on the contact us. Sometimes it's not, but it should be. So I would send it over everybody's head and start it at a new submission. And so that to me is one of the first strategies, bro. And if you don't think this is valuable, that to me, if you don't learn anything else from me, it's the most valuable, dude. You got to get it out of the hands of the independent adjusting. There's nothing to gain from dealing with that guy.
I always send it to the
good.
company. Yeah.
Good. So
And
nothing new.
the thing is that I never done supplementing up front. I always done supplementing
After you build,
Yeah.
But that's a disadvantage because the first thing that you have against you is, first, you don't know what the list is that they're going to give you trouble about.
Correct.
There's going to be a list of items that they're going to resist on.
Yeah.
And there's no way for you to know what those are if you build first. If you know what that list is, then you can go all in on the special attention on that list. You can give your photos and everything you need to back. You know what they're thinking already. You know what their argument is. All right, so you have remove. So no removal of ridge cap, which is not, that's not anything abnormal. It's not usually included by most insurance companies.
So you have to remove the ridge cap.
Right, correct. But also you have to have a ridge cap. There is no ridge cap. And now if this is a 3-tab shingle, then that would be understandable more, okay? But like right here, he's saying that the waste factor includes cutting, waste, ridge, shingles, starter course, and valley. All right? Well, what waste factor is he even using, dude? He's using a 10% waste factor.
Yeah.
For that freaking roof.
Correct.
Now, I would say that roof requires a 15% without any of those things.
Correct.
All right? So the biggest mistake right away that I'm seeing is that he does not have ridge cap. Okay? That's a big cost for that roof. Like, so you ran in your Xactimate, the ridge plus hit, that number, 250 basically, linear feet of ridge cap, which could be high profile. You can look and see if it's a high profile ridge cap, so that's even more money, right?
I have a picture so I can.
Right there, huh? Well, that's the ridge vent.
I don't think it's.
Looks like is that your house?
No, it's not.
It looks just like your house.
Yeah. I haven't.
The thing in front. I think it's probably a normal ridge cap. Yeah, I think that's a normal ridge cap.
It's abnormal.
Let's go back to where we were.
But there's like a lot of flashings. like this. And
Yeah, sure. And look at it. It's all bent up too, man.
Yeah.
It's all bent up already.
Yeah.
So let's go back to the estimate real quick. All right. So one thing I noticed though is that he has the ridge vent. The removal of the ridge vent too. Not normal. Right, not normal.
Yeah.
Not normal. They usually don't have that. So
Really?
yeah, so because they're saying why would we need to pay you for the removal of the ridge vent? That's included in the tear off of the shingles. That's what they say about the starter, the ridge cap, everything else, right?
Yeah.
So I know right away, I'm thinking, I know I'm billing for everything. I'm billing for the ridge cap, for the ridge vent, for everything, right? But I know right away, I'm thinking fast forward when I'm talking to an inside adjuster, he's gonna give me shit about that ridge cap. And the first thing I'm gonna say is, sir, your logic doesn't hold up, because if that's true, why would you pay for the removal of the continuous ridge, the ridge vent?
Uh-huh.
So why would you pay for the removal of that but not the ridge cap? Doesn't make any sense. You see what I mean? Like you're contradicting yourself. So if you're going to use one rule for this estimate, let's be consistent all the way through.
Right.
Now that may go nowhere. I understand that, but right away that's a strategy I'm going with, right? So all right. So removal and replacement of drip edge. That's rare. I just like to see that, because I'm thinking of all the other adjusters. We don't pay for the removal of the drip edge. That's included with the tear off. State Farm doesn't pay for that. State Farm doesn't pay. ASI doesn't pay for that. Yes, you do.
Yeah.
Right? So removal of the steep, again, rare, because a lot of times they don't even include the removal of the steep, but when they include the replacement of the steep, there is no waste factor. I realize it's only 1.49 squares, but it's still, as a matter of principle, it should be there. There should be waste factor for any kind of shingles that you go with the replacement of, correct? So if you go with the removal of shingles and then the replacement of shingles, you're going with a 10% waste factor. That rule also applies for removal of steep charge and replacement of steep charge with a 10% waste factor, or 15, I say, right? So removal of the steep, right here, replacement of the steep. You see, there's no waste. There has to be waste on the steep and the high charge also, just like with the shingles.
Yeah.
That is a glaring mistake. So we have the pipe jack, we have the R&R of the pipe jack, which is rare. Looks like all the vents, right, have been R&R. Valley metal, he's got the valley metal, that's great. Rain diverter, great. Turtles, great. Furnace vents, great. So now I want to look at the eagle view on this report. Do you have an eagle view on this?
I don't think so. I don't think I have.
Okay, well, let's assume we did. The thing that I'm looking for on the eagle view, bro, is the step flashing and the flashing. So all those things that you were pointing to in the pictures, that's what I want, the measurements for those, right? So as a matter of every job I'm doing, I have an eagle view on it.
So should I order right now?
Of course, you should always have an eagle view on any job that you sign, for sure. I mean, I used to have eagle views on jobs I didn't sign. For my appointment, I'd go out with the eagle view. Okay, I already know how much this is.
Okay, so yeah, the flashings is gonna give you on the report, right? The chimney flashing he doesn't include here. It has to be done. Chimney flashing.
Correct. And then what about the chase cover?
Look, this is the siding, man, on the side. It's already broken. So when we're gonna be doing the stuff, we have to do the siding. And this is chopped, bam, bam, bam. This is gonna be broken.
Is your flashing is inside, underneath there?
Correct.
Got it. Yeah. See, and what I would do is, like, so okay, that's a good example. And this is just one of the things. If I see that, I'm thinking, quickly thinking, okay, well, like I see the flashing sticking out at the end, and if I can see that it's bent at all, or there's a nail going through it, or there's any rust on the edge of it, then that flashing's got to go, according to code, right? Has to be replaced. And I know the insurance company will pay for that if they saw photos of the damage, right? So if starting out, I would want to go in and see if I can get those photos now before I build, right, of that damaged flashing. Start there, forget the siding for now. Start at the flashing, right? Make a case for that. And if I have pictures of any damaged flashing, then I put in for the replacement of that flashing with a minimum repair siding. Or 0 for siding, 0, right? So it's called an open item. So I put it in there with a note, open item, siding, or minimum repair. So we see that we're gonna have to do, we don't know how much work's gonna be required. We just don't know. We don't know if we can take the flashing out without messing with the siding too much, but we think we're gonna have to deal with that siding some kind of way. So we're putting in an open item for now. And if you trap them into that and they agree to that before you build,
So you just put siding 0?
0, an open item with a note. We don't know what it's going to be. We know it's going to be an issue. We don't know what it's going to be. We will follow up with documentation as we build. And they may say, oh, no, you don't. No, you don't. We're going to have to get that figured out now. You know, they may see it coming. Like this lady, Karen, for that big job, she was too sharp for that shit. She was just like, oh, no. Like any little subtle thing like that she saw coming. Because I think you know where I'm going, right? I mean, when I get in there, I'm going to tear it out. I'm going to try.
Take pictures.
I'm going to try to do it without messing with the siding, knowing it's impossible, right? So I'm going to make a case for, look, the siding. So once I'm into the siding, I've got to replace all the siding. So, I mean, at least on that elevation. Let's say that was only on one elevation. I have to replace the siding on that one elevation. If it's on all 4, then paint everything. Correct. If it's on all 4, I've got to replace all 4. So, and then either way, when you're doing it, you've got your trim pieces plus your siding, and then just painting. You've got to paint corner trim plus the paint siding, right? Prime and paint, etc., etc. And always look for this too, like that to me. There's nails going through that flashing.
Correct.
So I can make a case for that chimney flashing now. They may already pay for it. I didn't know if they did or not. But if they didn't, there you go. Why would they not pay for it? You've got your nails according to code right there. Boom, it's done. It's too bad you don't have pictures a little bit higher on that chimney case. I mean, you gotta look at that flue cap too. And look here and here. That's a bigger chimney.
Yeah, of course.
Chase cover too. Yeah. And whoever looks at it, that's what I think the drones are good for, man. Like, it's dangerous to get up there and look at those things, man. Okay, so the Eco View is for that flat, is because they never give you can look at the insurance adjuster's estimate. And they may have pulled an Eco View. It might say Eco View is the source, right?
They never provide you that.
Never give you that. So that's why I need that. And go back right to the gutter. Go back to where I saw that gutter. No, other way. There it was, right there. Okay, so the gutters have to be removed to get to the drip edge. No doubt about it.
Yeah, all gutters have to be replaced.
Well, I was just going to say, I bet they have to get replaced because of hail damage, right?
Yeah.
But in any case, if there is no damage to the gutters and you see this situation, there's just no question about it, right?
Yeah, you have to remove the gutter and store it.
But what else has to happen? Two things have to happen. The gutter would then, assuming they're not having to be replaced, the gutters would then have to be painted, dude. Because if you take them off and put them back on, they're going to be scratched up like crazy, are they not? If you touch those gutters to take them off and put them back on, are they not going to have scratches where you unscrewed each and every single point? They're going to be scratched up, dude, and bent. So then the other thing that has to happen, and I believe that this has to happen for any job when you're doing drip edge, is that the fascia has to be painted. Right? I mean, because here's one of the standards for inside stuff, for like water damage and fire damage. One of this always just an insurance restoration industry standard. Baseboard, anytime that comes off of the wall has to be painted. Period. Wall has to be painted. Because look, you're going to take this baseboard off, right? And I promise you, you're going to peel this paint off of the wall in certain parts of it, right? That's why they don't even fight you on it. It's just understood that if the baseboard comes off for any reason, the wall has to be painted. Not just one wall, all the walls in the room, wherever it leads, continuous run, right? That's a given. And if we're doing that, by the way, if we're staying here, blinds detach, reset, towel bars, toilet paper holders, mirrors, shelves, all that, right? Mask and tape. all along the perimeter up there. I mean, you know, we've got crown molding, masking tape. So back on this case here, if we are taking the drip edge off of the fascia, we're gonna pull that paint. And I know this is, who knows, right? Could be depending on the type of fascia it is, metal or whatever, you know what I mean? Is it painted, not painted? But it's probably gonna scratch that fascia or pull the paint off. There's a case to be made about that fascia being painted. I bring that up because one of my default items for all estimates, every estimate I write that has a roof, I'm always gonna put seal and paint trim at the very end. And I know you've seen that in insurance estimates, the adjuster, they put seal and paint trim. Why? Why are they putting that in there? I don't think they even know why sometimes.
Usually they do it if the drip edge is painted.
If the drip edge is painted, that's the default.
To match the...
So keep watching that item and keep looking at that and see if that always fits. Because it doesn't. They put it in when it's just white drip edge, or if it's a painted color already, like if it's it comes that way, right?
Uh-huh.
And then they say, well, and on that note, same with gutters, by the way. It looks like that's probably a painted gutter, doesn't it? Should be painted. Did they put prime and paint gutters? So I get that a lot where they'll say, and then I'll see seal and paint trimmed all. Which there's like, so if it's not because of the painted edge, right? If it's not because of the painted drip edge, then it's because, like, so if I put it in there and they come back at me and they say, why do you have this here? This drip edge comes in that color, you know, because I've gotten that a lot. I say, well, yeah, I mean, it could be construed that way, but also technically the fascia has to be painted. It's got to be there either way, and if we go that route, I gave you a break because I could have put seal and paint fascia, but I put seal and paint trim. You see what I mean? Yeah. So just one more way to get that number up. But the drawback is if you do put that in there, then you have to do it, right? You have to do that item. So if you don't want to mess with it, maybe you don't want to put it in there. But that's a default.
Or you just want to receive HCV and
very well. I've done that 100 times. You know what I mean? Like, you can do that and just make sure you do the math and make sure you can be, you know, like the homeowner knows what you're doing, you know what you're doing, and it's all legit with the paperwork. You know, you could even, like, what I like to do on those is, like, when you submit the invoice for the depreciation, as I say, we have completed all of the items with the exception of the following. So
what I like to do is just to say, here is how much you need to pay, and the project is completed.
Yeah.
Like, I'm just gonna specify it, it's completed, go and check. And
I know that works sometimes too, but then sometimes they'll get back to you and say, oh, well, we see this, but we need a more detailed, you know, line item thing. So, see, but the thing is that if you start following this approach, bro, where you submit beforehand, believe me, that number that you were, like the depreciation number that you figured you have to go back and invoice for at the end, is no longer the same, dude, because if you submitted before, they're not going to approve everything on your estimate.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean we just give up. That's what you've been thinking. Your method calls for submitting the estimate after the job is done, and whatever they don't agree with, you just give up, right?
Yeah.
So this gives you 2 bites at the apple.
But right now I have a supplemental that
You told me about that, yeah.
and it was totally denied.
Yeah.
And I'll show you that case.
Please do, yeah. I'll show you why it was probably denied too. But so look, my approach calls for you give them the estimate before the build, give them an opportunity to add more money to it.
How much time would you allow to?
If you're doing your job right, then you should be able to submit that estimate within 2 days, and you should be able to have a response done and over with within a week.
Okay.
Might take a little bit longer. Might be done in 24 hours.
I see.
You know, but I would say, like, if you're aggressive, like on your phone calls and your emails with the insurance company, you get them in right away. You know what I mean? Then, you know, because that's it's up to you. The answer is.
You copy the home one as well on the email.
Yes. The answer is it's up to you. Yeah, I'd be very transparent. I would advertise myself that way. I'll keep in the loop on everything. I'll get referrals that way. You know what I mean? So, but the answer is really it's up to you. I say what I mean is there are sometimes where there's claims that are just high priority. You know, with one of my clients or something. Maybe it's a problem case and I just want to get it done. You know, like I've got some of those, right? So where I've made my mind up, no matter what, this claim gets freaking closed today. When I put that in my head, it gets closed.
Nice.
And if it's not today, it's within a couple days. But I'm just saying, you can turn up your aggressiveness and the time that you put into calling them back, and you know what I mean? To where you put them in a box, that you make them commit, the adjuster.
Have the call one call and voice messages.
Right.
Call even the adjuster who's not on the claim anymore, so he calls them as well.
There's so many different, they call the agent. There's so many different things that you can do to expedite it if you had to, right? Don't put yourself out there like that. Just don't make it too hard on yourself. Give yourself a nice normal pace, but that is
2 weeks.
Yeah, I think 2 weeks is more like that should do it. And if you gave that kind of expectation, then the reality is you'll probably over deliver more times than not, which is great, right? That's great with your client. So you're meeting the expectation. So okay, but listen. 9 times out of 10, dude, at that point, they're going to give you more money and they're going to send it out. Does that make sense? So like, right away, dude, right away. This, is that what that is? Look. Right away. There's one benefit right away. Go to the very top of the system.
Just a smart mouse.
Sorry.
Do you know how to use it? Do you know?
I'm not an Apple guy.
Look at it.
Oh, cool.
Isn't it cool?
Definitely. Look, brother, back to the thing about the client that may pull out. And you hold the bag at the end of the depreciation. This is how we got here.
So,
right?
yeah.
With the money.
The homeowner is going to always have like a bigger check on
that money, right? This is one more reason why you submit before. Because no matter what they say about my estimate, whatever they say, if they don't like what I had to tell you about the flashing, the step flashing, the chimney flashing, and we can keep looking in there. I'm sure there are more items. Prime and paint the gutters, right? The waste factor on the steep charge, the waste factor on the high charge, probably a chase cover. If I look at the photos of the front of the house, which I want to do, I want to see if there's any cornice return gables. I saw they had 1 rain diverter in there. I think there are probably 4 to 8 kick-out rain diverters in there. Those all need to go in there. They don't have the ridge cap, remove and replace. They don't have any of that shit on there. The waste factor's at 5%, should be at 15%.
Yeah, the estimate is going to be 10 grand more.
Got it.
Please.
Now, when I submit that to them, what if they tell you, no, on every single item? The one item they will not tell you no on, though, look at the price list.
Yeah.
See? So you know, right there, if it's completely unsuccessful, they have to give you that.
Correct.
They've got to up that. So it's worth my time to go in on a job of that size, to go in and get them to up it by $1,000 or more, or who knows how much. If none of those things are successful, but that is. I happen to know, though, 9 times out of 10, a lot of those items, maybe not all, are going to get accepted. The ones that are not, most of the items that don't get accepted are not going to be denied, but they're going to come with a caveat, like they're not approved right now, but if you give us documentation during the build, we'll approve it. Can I get you to log that? I'm trying to get them to commit to that, right? So now I know what they're going to tell me about that flashing, that siding, that chase cover, all the chimney flashing, the code items, the paint, the trim, and all that. And if they said no, like if they said, some items that they could say no on are, we won't give you 15% because they don't have the ridge cap, they don't have a starter, right? They don't have a lot of things. So they may say, we won't give you 15% waste factor and the ridge cap and the starter and all that, right? But we will give you 15% all inclusive. You know what I mean? Like there's going to be a compromise made there where they're not going to come all the way up to where you are, 15% plus ridge cap plus starter, right? That's where you're going to be at, right? They're not going to come all the way up there, but they'll do something. They'll move their 5% up, or they'll keep their 5% and they'll give you those items. They're going to do something to deal with that, believe me, because that's wrong, and everybody that takes a look at it is going to know you caught them on that. That's wrong, right? But then they say, we don't pay for
Stop.
Right, or we don't pay for waste on the steep charge, even though they're supposed to. Or they may say, like, They did good here because they have the R&R on all the pipe jack flashing and all that. Or man, if you look at the State Farm estimate, it'll just say pipe jack, turtle. It won't say R&R. They don't pay you for the removal of it. So our estimate to State Farm will say R&R. And they'll say, State Farm doesn't pay for the removal. You say, why? It's included in the tariff. You say, sir, can you look at the Xactimate illustration? That's not accurate. And they say, well, I don't know what to tell you. You may be right, but State Farm don't pay for that.
Correct.
What kind of, you see what I mean? I can't get them to pay for it later. That's not an item that's, I get them to log and we get later.
Yeah.
That's gone, right? So there are some things in the estimate that we're gonna get rid of. You see what I mean? Right away. In fact, that's why I have remove on my estimate. Like remove continuous
and
ridge
then
vent, remove ridge cap, remove shingles, remove steep charge, remove high charge, right? And then remove flashing, remove a couple other things, right? And then R&R pipe jacks, R&R chimney flashing, R&R.
But R&R is removed in place, so you.
That's just for the accessories. I put them in the middle. R&R chimney flashing, R&R pipe jacks, R&R turtle vents, R&R, and then I go back with replace step flashing, replace valley metal, replace flashing, replace drip edge, replace felt, replace shingles, replace high charge, replace steep charge, replace ridge cap, replace ridge vent. So I build the estimate in the order of the job.
Yeah.
Removal. We'll deal with all these accessories in the middle, R&R, sandwich stop, and then replace, right? So that when we go through it, one of the first things they say, State Farm doesn't pay for the removal of the ridge cap, that's included in the tariff. And we try to argue with them a little bit, see they're not gonna pay for it. Okay, I'll tell you, Mr. Adjuster. Sometimes I'll do it before they even finish the sentence. Well, the price I see right here, just okay, throw it out. Just throw it out. I told you, I was so reasonable and more than willing to work it out. Like my email says, we are reasonable and more than willing to work it out. We'll compromise with you. I'll prove it to you. Just give me a chance. You know what I mean? I tell them the phone. I know it looks really high at the estimate, but don't worry. You just start with everything that's there. I'll work with you. Give me a chance. You know what I mean? Okay, well, the first thing is to remove this ridge cap, State Farm don't pay. Okay, throw it out the window then. How's that? See, I told you, I'm willing to work it out. I'm reasonable. Let's go. You see? We don't pay for R&R drip edge. We don't pay for the removal of it for drip edge. Oh, you don't? You don't pay for the removal of the pipe jacks? Okay. Well, State Farm says you're wrong on that with the illustrations and all that, but I know, you can only do what you can do because State Farm has its own policies and procedures and all that, right? So just throw it out, right? So I'm basically giving them back a couple things right off the top. But dude, if you look at the math on that, I think you know what's coming. The dollar amounts are not that much for removal of pipe jacks, removal of drip edge. It's not that much. $100 here, $100 there. Give it back to them. Negotiation 101. You know what I mean? Like, if I gave you a big number, you came back and gave me shit, I gave you a little bit off. You know what I mean? Like right away. I didn't even make you beg for it. So now you see, I'm a cool guy. Like we can get through this thing together. Like at first you saw this remove, and replace. Like what? And all these footnotes and all this crazy. You thought, I'm never getting through this. I'm going to tell this guy to go jump in a lake. I don't know where the hell and he gets me on the phone and he starts in with that. Sometimes they say, I don't even want to talk about it. I say, well, tell me, what are the items on the estimate that you don't like? Like, they don't even want to go through it. They thought there's no chance of getting through it, right? And we go through it, and I say, okay, throw those off. And all of a sudden, they're like, and I say, really, man, let's get together. Let's roll up our sleeves together, you and I, and let's get this thing closed. Let's just do it. Let's get it closed today. Let's we build it. No problem. I don't see why we can't get this thing built, even though we're $10,000, $15,000 apart. Don't let that intimidate you. You and I, a couple of veterans, we can do this together, man. Put this, get it closed out today. Why are we, So I don't fight with the adjusters on the phone, man. I keep them real good rapport. Like if they're being shitty, I try to be cool if I can. And I might get off the phone with them shitty. I'll tell you what, dude. If you call State Farm Inside Adjusters, right? If you call them, because if this is a State Farm claim, you're submitting it to State Farm Fire Claims at statefarm.com every time. every State Farm claim. You submit it there. So now, we're in Texas, so Team 53. Inside State Farm, when you call State Farm, the robot picks up State Farm. You give them the claim number, and they say, okay, yeah, I see it's assigned to, and and what can I do? It's under review or whatever. They're not giving you anything at that level. That's the robot. Don't listen to them. Just give them the claim number and the name of it to say, yes, I'm calling about claim number such and such, and I give them, and I say for at 36 Drive, McKinney, Texas 75070, and this is Chad with the roof, right? And I need to speak with Team 53. That's it, because that's a State Farm, it's Team 53. That team handles everything in this region. So we're not getting anywhere by asking anything to that first person. We're not getting anywhere. She's not going to help us. It's designed that way to send us spinning off in the other direction. We're not getting anywhere. Same with USAA, right? USAA, there's no team number on USAA. But same process, if you just remember. When you call USAA's inside adjustment team, it's a robot that answers the phone, meaning like a receptionist kind of person, right? But like same with State Farm. But if you ask for Team 53, whoever answers the phone after that is an adjuster. They are an inside adjuster, meaning they can pull up that claim number and dig right in. And they have more authority than the person that came out there on the job, dude. That's key. Same with USAA. Same with Allstate. Usually that goes back to, usually you can only deal with one inside adjuster on Allstate. But State Farm, so where I was going with this, call them, give them the claim number, ask them for Team 53, and when the Team 53 answers, that adjuster answers, don't jump right into it with them yet. Let's do a little small talk. Let's try to determine
who that is.
Can we even work with this person? See what I'm saying?
Just
jury pool.
check him out.
What's the jury?
And if you don't like him, just hang out and call him in.
On the jury, what do they do that where they pick the jury, right? And they go through the prosecutor and they go through and they pick the jury. So let's pick the jury, right? Let's go through and say, how you doing? Where you how's the weather where you are? And you're so good at this. Oh God. Like not getting to the point, right? Just small talk. How long you been there? Like just totally just get them going for a while. And if you see that they're not digging you or your personality, accidentally hang up the phone.
Yeah.
Why not? Call back. Need Team 53. Yeah. Promise you it's going to be somebody different to answer.
Wow.
Now, if you get in there and start arguing with them, they start shutting you down on items, hanging up on them and calling right back might not be the best tactic, because you call right back, they'll say, yeah, I see here in the notes that you just now talked to Bob, who's, he said that he wasn't going to give it to you. So it's better to decide if you're not going to be able to deal with that person before you even give them the damn claim number.
Correct. Nice. I see.
USAA, same thing. There's no team number with them, but tell the robot, I need to speak with an adjuster on that team. I need to speak with an adjuster.
Yes. I think I'm gonna start liking it. Like I like that stuff. Like I did a little bit when I was doing on the back.
It's a science thing.
And I was doing really well. I was getting all kind of profit,
It's fun. Yeah. Because the thing is too is that these things that you may try now, after you start doing them, you're going to find out something along the way that's going to cause you to change your strategy. That really should be rule number one, is that all this stuff changes so rapidly.
I'm getting ready.
Good. Like it changes and adapts.
I'm getting ready.
You have to be able to continuously changing. Hold on, let me get that. Let's put that back in.
Okay, so what I'm gonna do, Oleg, is I'm gonna give them back money. So let's do the jury pool first before we even get into all that. So but when we get the guy, we determine we can work with them, right? Okay, we sent you an estimate a couple of days back. Haven't heard back from you yet. Following up on that estimate because we're about to build it, and it's also time is sort of of the essence. And they pull claim number, they pull it up. Could you review that with me real quick? Do you think you have a few moments to review that? And you pull it up. State Farm will do it right then. USAA will do it right then. Most insurance companies, when you're dealing with the inside, farmers, farmers, you kind of have it like you send it in through the top, but it goes to a certain person. It gets assigned to a person that's stuck to that person right away. Kind of sucks because you may not like that person, right? Liberty Mutual, you can usually deal with anybody inside. Safeco, you got to deal with the same that came out and looked at it. Nationwide, same thing. Sucks, right? These independents, though, you can usually find out who the independent or who the inside adjusting team is and go straight to the inside. Sometimes they will say, well, I see we sent Worley out there before. We're going to send this back to Worley and see what they have to say. They do that too. You got to be prepared for that. But Worley may come back and not agree with everything you say, but agree with some of it. But the inside adjuster can take both sides and they can decide to go with you if they want to. So it doesn't mean that just because they're sending it back to them that decision is going to be final. They just don't want to make the decision. They're doing shit. It's a waste of money in my opinion. So when we get that person on the phone and we actually start reviewing it and they give us a problem with that first one, they may have called us, right? They may have called us irate. What is this stuff you just said? This is crazy. They may send us an email. This is ridiculous. All denied. Or they may say, I have this happen to me a lot right now in my business, where I send them the estimate and they send me back a revised estimate. Like some guy sends me back a revised estimate. Like, here's what I came up with. We've added this amount. We've added this amount. Here's our revised estimate. Let me know if you have any problems. And it's like, great. Sometimes I call them back. That's good enough for me. Nice. Added $4,700. Boom. So it happens so much, dude.
Thank you.
I can't tell you how much that happens. It happens so much, like maybe 30-40% of the time that happens. So you let the numbers play out. So we're taking off the items off the top. What does that look like? You remember the estimates I sent you?
Yes. I have.
Remove ridge cap. Remove shingles with a note. This is so note that this item does not include anything other than the removal of shingles and felt. It does not include the removal of ridge caps, starter strips, valley metal, drip edge, vents, pipe jacks, or anything else. All other items must be accounted for separately. Also, any mention of dump waste removal above does not apply to any other items on this job, other than the shingles and the felt. And this is only if the contractor is using their own equipment, in quotes. This is why there's a dumpster item in the general condition section of this estimate, right?
Do you have the same?
Yeah, so look. Underneath there, official exact word description for this item below. And we're still talking about this item, remove shingles, right? Includes dump fees, hauling, disposal, and labor to remove composition shingles and felt. It doesn't say drip edge, pipe jacks, right? Note, if additional layers would be removed and disposed of, use additional line item. Removal cost is based on hauling done with contractors' own equipment. If haul off is to be estimated separately, or if the removal is being estimated with a dumpster, DMO dump, or other equipment, use item, blah, blah, blah. Okay, so we have that. Remove steep. Remove additional steep. Remove high charge. Remove drip edge. What I do is I bold all the items that are missing from the adjuster estimate or different in some kind of way. Right? So ridge cap was missing, so it's bolded. Valley
so they can see it.
So they can see it. So I have a note right here. See the note on the cover page? Any differences between our estimate and the original adjuster estimate are indicated in bold. This may be where the line item is missing entirely from the adjuster estimate and or where the items differ in some way. So the measurements are a little different or they're not putting the waste factor in. So, but I make them figure out if it's bold, why is it different? Which one of these things is not like the other? Which of these things does not belong? Tell me which of these things is not like the other before.
My soul. And then say cartoon is on.
Yeah. Remove valley, remove flash. It's a kid's song. Remove flashing with color finish. You gotta look and see if that flashing, the L flashing is color finish. And then R&R pipe jack, R&R rain cap, R&R exhaust cap, R&R roof vent, R&R kick out diverter flashing, R&R chimney flashing, R&R chimney chase cover. Then replace. See, in the middle are the R&Rs. Anytime I'm replacing something now, whether it's R&R or replacing alone, now I'm putting footnotes in. What do the footnotes say? Pipe jack, as required by 2012 IRC, pictures attached for reference code section.
I'm gonna do it.
Rain cap.
Just put a picture right there.
Right, rain, you can. Rain cap. 2012 IRC, 2012 IRC, 2012 IRC, 2012 IRC, right? All the way down. We're in code. These are required by code, dude. You gotta pay for them, right? Replace flashing, replace step flashing, replace valley metal, replace starter, replace shingles with a note. Includes laminated composition shingles, 15-pound felt, roofing nails, and labor. Quality, average grade laminated double. I put the quality in there. Includes 15% waste factor. Steep charge with a 15% waste factor. Steep charge greater than 12. High roof, 15% waste factor. Ridge cap. Then prime and paint roof jack, prime and paint roof vent, seal and paint trim. When removing and replacing drip edge, the fascia's finished, etc. is damaged. I put etc. because it could be the job I was talking to. Yeah, whatever. You got to pay for it one way or the other. You know what I mean? Gutters, prime and paint. They're missing, right? Right elevation, gutters, prime and paint were missing. So you know that tells you that the gutters were there in the initial estimate, but the paint was missing. The only thing different is the bold, right? Everything else is the same.
But you don't include overhead profit here.
I did not on this job.
Why?
Because it only had a roof and gutters in the screen. Likelihood of them giving you a red and profit
So you don't mean.
is next to nothing. If there was one more trade in there, like a fence, I'd go for it. But I probably still wouldn't get it.
Why?
It's not complex enough. It's not. There's no interior work, right? So if you had one little spot in a bathroom,
I have solar panels on the roof that are
that's a red and profit.
very complex.
Yeah, that's a red and profit. Also, I saw in there your flat fixed skylights. So skylight, you text me about this, right? Your flashing kit. That would be for a dome style though. The flashing kit is for a dome style. Those are flat fixed. So probably skylight cladding, linear feet of the whole entire perimeter of them. But if they're broken, obviously they'll replace.
Just flashing.
Reglaze is another one too. So, but one little water spot on one little bathroom, on a closet, one water spot gives me overhead and profit on this whole job. So 28,000 is where it's at now. Add $5,400, $5,600 if you find you that one little spot. But if you tell me you never looked inside, I'm gonna go off on you, right? You're gonna sacrifice overhead and profit because you didn't have enough time to go inspect the inside of the house. The water spot's probably in there somewhere. It probably is.
What do you
You
think?
didn't even check?
What do you think from?
Huh?
What do you think that was what was
Usually, yeah, this late in the game, it's already probably rained several times since the hail. Why do you think they replaced the roofs, brother? when they hail, why do you think the insurance companies pay to replace the whole roof?
When?
Why? Why do you think they do it? When a roof is damaged by hail, it's going to leak water, right?
Something.
Yeah, it's going to leak water. Trust me, it's going to leak water. If it has hail damage, it's going to leak water.
Yeah, and then it'll show on the ceiling right there.
Yeah. At some point, it's going to leak water.
Yeah, of course.
So the longer the time is that how many times it's rained since that storm, like we probably have water damage on 70% of these jobs. So at the end of that estimate, I'm putting in, this is the adoption page showing that McKinney adopted the 2012. IRC. IRC. So I'm starting there. So you guys know, City of McKinney adopts 2012. It's the Energy Conservation Code. And the IECC.
Yeah, when you just do stuff like that, they know who they're talking to.
Right, drip edge. There's the code for the drip edge from 2012 IRC. Why do we gotta pay for the drip edge? It's right there, Mr. Adjuster. It's on page 12. The code from the 2012 IRC requiring drip edge is on page 12. All right? So you don't have to go find it. We found it for you. Go look it up. If you need the link to the code book, just let me know. Give me your email address and I'll send it over to you. Flashings.
I put a link right there.
Flashings shall be reconstructed in accordance with approved manufacturer instruction.
Put the link.
Could do that, but they have to type it all out. It's a long, long link.
In PDF, if you do it PDF.
You could do a little Google shortener or something, or Bitly.
Oh yeah.
Page 13.
Or on your website.
Yeah, with tracking, so you can tell them, sir, I saw you looked at it this morning from your IP address.
Correct.
So I thought maybe you were ready to close it out, you know? Sorry.
It was funny.
Roof covering application must be done in accordance with manufacturer installation. This is why you have to have starter and ridge cap and a lot of other things. Because it must be done in accordance with manufacturer installation instructions. This applies to asphalt shingles. Must shall comply with the provisions of this section.
I don't think I have anything on that.
Locations. Flashing shall be installed at wall and roof intersections where there's a change in roof slope or direction around roof openings. Flashing shall be installed to divert the water away from where the eave of a sloped roof intersects a vertical sidewalk. Where flashing is of metal, the metal valleys. There's a whole big old deal on valleys. For open valleys, valley lining, for closed valleys. These are requirements. These are not just suggestions. These are requirements. This is a big one. This is like the joker, the wild card, right? Any existing flashings, edgings, outlets, vents, or similar devices that are part of the assembly shall be replaced when rusted, damaged, or deteriorated. Period. All right? Rusted, damaged, deteriorated. That one, I'll show you the nail through the flashing. This is the thing. That one is the one that works more than any of these.
Really?
That one is like, just show them the damage, rusted, damaged, or deteriorated, and it's done. Just show them that picture. Like, you have pictures now of that flashing with nails through it. That is enough.
Yeah.
I see bends looking at it. It's just looking from
and you
that
can zoom
window.
in.
I mean, you have bends all through it, right? So then I put pictures.
Is it worth subscribing to Eagle View? Like what packages would you suggest?
I've got the platinum. That's the biggest one they have. You know, what I'm trying to get at here is I made it a rule a long time ago that I'm getting an Eagle View regardless. Every single deal. So if there's siding, I'm getting an Eagle View on the siding. Just no question about it. I'm getting it. I don't have to stop and think about it. I don't have to stop
and
and
Eagle View
try
on
to...
siding is pretty precise?
Huh?
Precise? On siding?
Yeah. Have you ever seen a wall report?
That's good?
Yeah.
How do they do
Let me
it?
show you.
How is it possible?
I think that's over my pay grade.
Technology, huh?
Look at that. North elevation, east,
How
south.
do they do it, man?
But then it gives you all the doorways and the windows
It's crazy,
and the linear footage. Look at that. Look at that, dude.
How does it do it, man?
If you don't have that information and you try to bust out a siding estimate, then that means you're only doing remove and replace siding the square foot. There's like 15 other items that are supposed to go with that. You're supposed to remove and replace the fan fold insulation, the house
How
wrap,
do you find people
the
who can
window trim, the door trim. You have to understand, man, this is not just something I'm doing because I think it's a good idea or something. Like, this has been tested through trial and error hundreds and thousands of times over 5 years with all of my clients. You know what I mean? Like, you don't know anybody who is in that position, who can look at it from that perspective to tell you what works and what doesn't work.
Yeah.
Like, this method has been what has been evolved over time that might be different next month. You know what I mean? Like, this is what works right now for my clients. Like, it's not a guess. It's not like, here's a good idea, Ole.
Correct.
This is my subject. You know what I mean? So I think it's best to submit. When I was a GC, towards the end of when I was a GC, during that time this strategy was not best during that time. At that time, the better strategy was to do it like you're doing it and build it and stick it to them. You know what I mean? Like if they approve the roof, I'm building the roof, and then I'm going to bill you, and you're going to pay for it. You know what I mean? And I'll have the leverage, but it's not an estimate; it's an invoice. But they've through the past 5 or so years, man, they've really started to get to the point to where they're going to approve a lot less of it, and they'll have, even if it's accurate, the thing that you say, well, why aren't you going to pay for it? Well, the fallback for them is right on the front cover page of all the estimates that you're used to getting, probably on that ASI cover sheet, probably says right on the front, that they reserve the right to inspect anything above and beyond that estimate. They reserve the right. So they're going to say, if you want to be a dick, we'll shut you down because we don't have to pay for anything, really, because you didn't submit it to us before you built it.
Yeah.
You know? You knew it was this much and you never contacted us. Why not?
Yeah.
So for that reason right there, I don't think that's something I want to give up. I don't think I want to give up that leverage right out of the gate. So you've got to submit it before you build. You're going to get more money. Before you even build it, the insurance, your client's going to get more money sent to them, dude. Why don't you want that? You need to pretend right now that you've never been there before. You know what I mean? And do I have everything? Because that's the adjuster, the inside adjuster. You want to reproduce it for him or her that if they've never been there before, they know enough from looking at everything that you've provided them to be able to determine that they can make those decisions. They don't need to call for a re-inspect. Does that make sense? They don't need to call for a re-inspect just to have some other adjuster go out because from your estimate, I can't really see what I'm looking at. But from those pictures I saw that you were taking, that's what you need. You need tons of pictures. Front, right, rear, the whole thing. You need tons and tons of photos.
I think now I got it.
Do you think you're getting any direction from it?
Yeah, definitely. So I'm gonna create a temple. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I'm gonna create.
So I'm not knocking him. It's just I don't think that approach works
let's
for you.
Let's say GF Lifetime 50 roof system with ridge vent. Mm-hmm. So it gives me.
Yeah, right.
Okay, but now what I can do is I can attach also pictures to each of them.
Cool.
So I'm gonna attach like this, for example.
So what you're saying to me though is that you're not going to use Xactimate. Is that what you're saying? You're not. So
I'm gonna use Xactimate pricing. I'm gonna update my template for Xactimate pricing at all times. Mm-hmm. So every month I'm gonna be updating my template with Xactimate pricing.
Okie dokie, buddy.
Why? What do you suggest?
I don't know why. I don't know what would lead you out of everything you've learned to make that decision. I don't know why. I don't know why you would use something that 90% of the insurance companies, or something other than what 90% of the insurance companies are using. Xactimate. Why are you going to make it hard? I mean, if you don't give them anything but Xactimate format, looks like Xactimate, is Xactimate, where everything's where it's supposed to be. And by the way, in Xactimate, you can print it out with the final punch, the different kind of the format that comes out where it just says remove and replace. That's not the one you want. You want the same format that the insurance adjusters use. The one that's in the estimate that I showed you of mine. That's the one you want. You don't want anything different from what they use. Because if you're using anything different, then your justification of getting them to approve it is not going to be as easy of A, B, C. Done. You know what I mean? Connect the dots. Standard. You won't get that 30-40% of the time while they write you back with the revised estimate. Because you're complicating the matters. And I think you're doing it because you're thinking it's going to be an easier process. Because you can just plug it in through Job Nimbus or whatever. But I don't know what to really do with that. I don't know how to tell you to make that work.
So you think just because of the formatting is going to look different, it's going to make them...
Mostly. Not too ultra sharp people.
So they will be more inclined to negotiate if they see Xactimate.
Not negotiate. We don't do any negotiating, but yeah. It's not negotiation. You're not allowed to negotiate with adjusters. So don't say that. Don't use that word. Like, get it out of your vocabulary. Because if you say that, you're likely to say it around your customers, and you don't want to say that around your customers.
But for me, negotiate and discuss is the same.
It's not the same for the Texas Department of Insurance. You can argue with them, but you can't negotiate with them. It's just a play on words, right? So look, it's easy for them, man, because it's already in Xactimate. Everything's already there. Like, if I'm meeting with the adjuster, I can give them the ESX file. You know what I mean? Like,
So they can upload it.
yeah, we've got this. We're using the same stuff here. So, like, I made it real simple for them. I bolded the items for them to change. All they have to do is open up the estimate that's already been written by the other adjuster. They can open that up.
I would need to.
And they just make a couple simple modifications and it's done. But this crap, man, they gotta do, I love the idea, the genius behind it. It's brilliant, but it's all for the right reasons, but it's not the winning way to go. And some other guy, they all say, don't use Xactimate, I use my own damn price, my own damn format, and that's the way I do it. And you ask them, how long does it take you to get your jobs closed? 3-4 months.
Unless you want to sue them. Unless you're building a case to sue them.
I'm gonna be 40 this year. When I started in this industry, lots of downs, lots of ups, you know. Exactly 20 years ago.
Wow.
So.
You're so old.
I'm old, brother.
You're an old wolf.
So,
Okay, yeah. So I have Xactimate.
and I will not say that I'm the best. You know what I mean? I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that I'm learning what's happening now, and I know you can name any of those guys, and they're not dealing with anywhere close to the number of claims that I am. Not anywhere close. You know what I mean? So for me, it makes real simple sense. I'm a student of the averages, the numbers, and I'm getting mine closed out in 2 weeks or less. Not 3 or 4 months, but yet I'm still getting 40% or more in increases. Now, by the way, I might not get it all 40% approved on the first submission. Remember, I'm submitting again. I have 2 bites at the apple. You submit after you build, you only have 1 crack at it. So what if you get a bad adjuster with your 1 chance after you build? You're screwed.
Yeah.
Me, I've got 2 chances. And really 3 and 4 and 5 if I utilize other methods, right? But I have at least 2 chances, 2 bites at this apple. Follow me?
I'll follow you.
You gotta get this, man.